Welcome to the Freddie Kissoon Show. Mike, all I'm saying, next time, bring the evidence. All you do, you come here, all the corruption. Just here. Next time you come, bring your stuff. I am not talking about that. I'm talking about you in 2024, December, saying there's corruption. Bring it.
Let me ask you this question. I would like to ask the AG to propose legislation for what we call small claims court. There are lots of poor people, for an example you just gave, that they have issues with others and sometimes with large firms, but the lawyer fee is greater than the fee you're claiming.
It is their
right.
A right, the right that someone has. All of our rights exist in context.
What is the context of second medical opinion?
Because you disrespected the process.
No.
Jesus, this is common sense, man.
Any situation which you seem that you just dealing with Afro-Guyanese issues. If one, you can't bring and pull the leaders of the African community together, you're failing. And if two, you can't put forward a future, a blueprint, and a plan for African Guyanese, you're failing as well.
Hi there, pleasant Wednesday evening to you. We do not have a guest. We will have a show on Friday, but it's election week, so I don't know if we will have a guest. It's doubtful whether we will have a show on Monday. I'll try, but the crew of Daybreak News and the studio will probably be closed because everybody will be on the streets outside the polling station monitoring things. So I don't know if I will have a team to broadcast on Monday evening, but we will see what happens. We do have a show on Friday in which we continue election week, in which we, through the kaleidoscope or prism of politicians and academics, we look at the elections. Now you can see on your screen, there is the co-host in red, and there is somebody who's been very, very faithful in providing us with a service to this show the past 3 years. We don't have a guest. James Bond is a co-host this evening, and all he'll be doing is what Leonard, Craig, and I do when we have our dialogue. We just rap and lime and gaff. Let's start on a light note. You see this thing on the table here? This is what, when you get a jumbie lash from this, you cannot survive. So James Bond has brought his father's staff, which was architectured or molded, want of a better word, in Ghana, when his father was in Ghana. But there's a Freudian reason that James Bond bought this here. I don't think the Freudian reason he's aware of it. With Freudian underpinnings, you're not aware of it. But this is a jumbie lash for the other parties that will be contesting the election in 4 days' time. Now, this thick here, if you get a lash with this, you cannot survive. But strangely enough, the two co-panelists here, or the two co-hosts have survived. James Bond survived, Vincent Alexander John Bilash survived it when he said he's suffering from post-slavery trauma. And then Leonard Craig survived David Hyde's John Bilash when he said he is a, well, I don't want to call that word, he's a liquor. So this is the John Bilash election stick. It was made in Ghana for James Bond's father. Yeah. James, this is handmade and this got to be expensive.
I know what the expensive
you're gonna give this is going to pass on.
Yeah. My father, most of my attire now is straight from Ghana. This is from Ghana.
This is from Ghana?
Yeah.
I know he went to China. This from China.
Yeah, it's custom 2007.
Oh, Jesus.
So we got roots in Ghana. You know, most we trace back our ancestry to Ghana, actually. So
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, we did that.
Your background is
Yeah,
from
we did
Ghana,
that,
not
yeah.
Nigeria.
No, Ghana. So this is from my dad, and he gave this to me this year. He gave it to
I
me.
met him outside the court
Yeah.
about 10 years ago.
Yeah, he gave this to me this year, so I have this. So on occasion, I walk with it when I have on my African garb. I walk with it. So today,
Freddie, Bond is here to share stick.
I know this is. I know no one can
I
survive
gotta
this
get it
lash.
polished back. You know, it's been
Yeah,
around
yeah,
for
yeah.
a number of years. It's been around.
But it still looks good.
Yeah, been around for a good couple of years.
You have to give it a name. I know you can't give it 007 because if you pass it on to your children,
No,
it's
no,
you
never
name
double.
James.
No, never double.
Any-
No, I got my son
Your
named
son
James.
named James?
Yes, James
Well,
Bond.
here,
James.
pass the pen, let me put
He's-
007 on it.
He's coming in. He lives in the States, but he's coming to live with me.
You got a pen knife here, no?
next
Let me
month.
put 007.
No.
He's coming back to Guyana.
Yeah, he lives in the U.S.
James, I want to start with something, and if you think it's out of place, please tell me, and I will apologize. I want to start with from erection to resurrection.
No, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna be blunt with you. I was like, what the hell? What pastor man going on with here, man? What pastor man going on here?
I've been trying. I just started. Look.
Freddie,
The famous guy in Guyana, Steve Sojbali,
Yeah.
who is the elections commissioner. Steve Sojbali saw Craig in my presence yesterday and said, from erection to resurrection, listen, AUC Guyana is not going to live down partition of Guyana. Once there is a UC Guyana right and walk in the streets, Nigel Hughes will forever live with 34 is a majority of 6-5.
Yeah.
And Leonard Craig, I taught him at UG. I think Leonard Craig is a good find for Guyana's nationalism, for the empowerment of African Guyanese. And he has a long journey in Guyanese politics. But that is going to stay from erection to resurrection. Why you said that thing, man? Why you said that thing?
Professor B to you, man. Professor B to you.
Well, I think that's going to stay with him.
Yeah.
But I don't see what's the first opposition made about that, man. People,
On the Hustings political campaign trail, I think it's okay to go off message. It's okay to be humorous. It's okay to be relatable. It's okay. You know, we all say some things on the hustings, you know, and it may rob us, or it may cringe, it may make us cringe. I think it was a cringe moment.
I want to repeat it again before we leave, but don't do that.
Yeah, don't repeat
There's
that.
a second to last.
Let us forget it. Let's forget about that. Let's forget about that.
Well, then it's dusted.
Yeah.
But I can laugh if I walk in with you and I hear people bring it up like Dr. Steve Sojbali's son brought it up yesterday. And look, you laughing. Why aren't you not?
No,
You don't know.
I get what he was trying to do. I get what he was trying to do.
But tell you this.
Yeah.
What happened there? And I'm being frank. And Freddie just draw me into talking about this thing, even though I always say I ain't going back there. But it was on the off moment, basically. And I have already said, I went to the meeting, I had a structured speech, I knew I was going to speak to the people of Region 5, but there was a lot of speakers and they were going a little over time. So by the time it came down to me, I had the chairman of the program say, man, you got to wrap this up in 2 minutes. And I said, what can I say in 2 minutes? Right? And I just say, here what happened. Forget speech. I'm going to hype up this crowd. James, this crowd was electric here, I'm telling you. And I say, look, I'm going to hype up this crowd. And from the first word to the last one, and I think while it, to use your term, it's cringeworthy, in the heat of the moment, between me and the crowd, it was received. And I believe the crowd received it well, albeit what it is. And sometimes we shape, when you're on a platform, you shape people's group. It's like a group think. People just respond on that moment and all of that. And then later on, then you take a look at it, and then you and I have already said that, I accept that a few words too many. So as you said, Freddie, I gotta live with it, and it's one of those things. But every time,
you gotta live with it forever. You forget.
No, I don't mind. It is what it is. That has gone. Some of these things you can't take it back. I can't scrape it off the internet. I can't take back what I said. Words don't come back in, and all of that. That is it.
This Ghanaian genetics. What were you?
Probably somewhere in West Africa, based on tracing of history. But I have not.
Oh, because
Zero
West Africans could survive
but
anything.
But put on the stick now, you could survive a lash from the stick. Suppose I retaliate.
Nobody can survive a lash from this Ghanaian jumpy stick. But before we started chatting, I believe through my long dinosaur years of political analysis, I have known James a long time, good relationship, despite political side of the fences, good relation. And I've known Leonard you a long time. I taught you at UG. I know you could see that you would have come out as a well-known son of the soil. This election is going to result in a PPP victory, and I'm going to miss both of you on this program because I think the government.
I'll be here, Freddie.
The government. You're not gonna be. You got. If you're late all the time, much as when you have an empowerment job, I suspect you are the young faces of the African race in Guyana that will interact with African people in terms of bringing state power and the country's resources to them. I hope, and I'm saying this now in all seriousness, I hope when you are projected into the future, which will be soon, I hope you never forget where you came from and your interaction with the ordinary people, and we will have you here to talk to people. I hope so.
Yeah, but Freddie, just one, I don't want to say a caveat, but let me just highlight one thing, is that the resources of the state to Afro-Guyanese, it was never a situation since 1966 where they did not have access to the resources of the state. They don't need Afro-Guyanese and Craig to provide access to the resources of the state.
But there could be. But you can't lock out people coming to you and Craig and saying, listen, our village need this, our village need that.
No doubt. I'm just saying, I'm just making the point that for empowerment, I'm glad that you're using that word. And one thing I have someone who from the States flew in to vote and be part of the election process, campaigning, and is dying to meet you.
Sure, anytime, man.
She has some engagement.
Yeah, just give them my cell number.
So she wants to meet you because your writings impact persons of all races. Let me say both races, of all races. And the way you speak of Afro-Guyanese, of your Afro-Guyanese experience, it resonates with a lot of Guyanese, both overseas and locally. But in terms of in the context of empowerment, I think the People's Progressive Party Civic in these years have made it so easy from the village movement, from the community movement, to empower persons of all races, whether you're in Whitewater, Tobago, or you're in Melanie, or Buxton, or Enterprise, or Mahaica. Now you have these communities experiencing development firsthand, not by some alien, but by persons right there in their own communities. I think that pathway that the government took to actually allow the communities to grow, contractors, training, that in itself would be a tremendous legacy for for His Excellency, and the access is there. Education, you know, I've never seen so many educated Guyanese. Like, you walking on the road, and persons are telling me, "Yo, James, you know, the gold scholarship I get anything help me." You know, so many Guyanese right now. We're starting a training up at the Mahaica BIT Center, Board of Industrial Training Center. We're going to start a heavy duty operator course in a few weeks, and the amount of persons are going to women applying for this thing, you know. Kudos to Minister Hamilton. It's an initiative of His Excellency, it's an initiative of the Vice President to get that community. We were walking around say, "Hey, Golden Grove, are you wanting provide about?" You know, we're not just benefit Golden Grove, we benefit everybody. So I think access has been tremendous. Never seen it. It's never left. It's always been there, and the PPC was just amped it up a bit. You know, amped it up a bit.
Well, I know you have always been a man of the people. We spent a couple of years in People's Parliament. I know your heart is among the working people, the dispossessed, the people who are rising to have a meaningful future. So wherever you go after September the 1st, I am sure you're going to not going to forget your roots.
Like James, I want to start with a caveat by saying that those are your words, right? About wherever you go and all of that. It's not, you know, my principle with respect to that once a person subscribes to a party and all of that, the party, you know, you move with the party when the party moves into government. And that there's no predefined expectation in my mind. But having said that, I would still be the same person and practice similar politics as I have in the AFC. And inside of the AFC, they know that I championed on a daily basis, whether I was living in Guyana or not. I champion on a daily basis the working class and the poor people. And if you ask the leadership of the AFC now, while I was in the AFC, those in the middle class often told me they feel attacked by me. Not that I was attacking the middle class, but I was representing the poor. And sometimes you go back, when the coalition was in government, David Patterson used to use these words, small things. I am going to be facetious enough to say he got that from me, because that is what, when I wake up every day, I used to tell them, you fix all the small things first, where poor people can benefit, and you're going to have a more happy population. Fix all the small things. When I go to apply for birth certificate, I mustn't got to think I got to give somebody a 4,000 or 5,000 to get it. When I want a passport, when I want, fix all those things that where poor people have access, and you're going to have a happier population. And while the coalition struggled to do that, I'm not going to be here and say they didn't try, but they struggled to do that. Air Finale came in and overcome many of those hurdles. And that is why people are responding to that. And regardless of which circle, because this is the party I support, and I believe the party will win, and regardless of which circle of influence I am able to access, I will continue to represent that interest.
Well, I don't see, I have known you donkey years, and I've known James Bond. I have always said in my writings, like 36 years as a columnist, the two working class parties whose cadres came from the working class, whose leaders came from the working class, who have a working class deploiement, have been the PNC and PPP. Mm-hmm. Look, Aubrey Norton has never come across as a bourgeois guy.
Right.
Never. Mm-hmm. And when you see those PPP leaders, I mean, people like Boise Ramkel and Chetty Jagger and all of them, you know, you just feel there was no aura, even of a semi-bourgeois. But so the two of you have never seen any kind of petty bourgeois or even middle class stance. And that is good, given the age of the two of you. That is good for Guyana. Trust me, I'm gonna put a Jumbie Lash on both of y'all when people come to me, tell me, I go to them office 3 times. I went to them people's office. I came back the 4th time. I go the 4th time with them. With this one, they can't see both of you. This Jumbie Lash. Right. What next? We got 4 more days. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks excellent. It looks excellent.
No,
it looks excellent.
You gotta be blind not to see the PP. PP's gonna win.
But you know something that
a little joke before you come.
Yeah.
As we said, the outgoing PPP. Just that. Continue.
No, but you know, let me
when you won't be outgoing.
No, let me say this here. Let me say this here. Any person, like let me echo the sentiments of persons before me. You have to be sick in the head, suffering from some mental illness. That is not to be disparaging on mental illness.
Yeah, right.
But you have to be serious. Something has to be seriously wrong with you.
Not to see not
only the progress that the PPP will win these elections and win it resoundingly. You have to be delusional to another level. It's like when I hear them say, "Oh, the polls." Like I do something when I speak at the public meetings, I ask the question: who's going to win Region 1? Who's going to win Region 2? And I go around 3. 4 we know is up for grabs. But who's going to win Region 5? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is up for grabs. I don't know how Azudin Mohammed or the Win Party or Forward Movement Guyana or ALP or
PPP can get PNC a fight in Region 4, boy.
We're winning Region 4. The president asked it, I'm going to give him it. He's going to win Region 4. At least I've been working on the East Coast.
You and Craig going to give it.
He's going to get East Coast. I guarantee
Although Craig is Bobby's.
Guarantee it. You know, he's got a Region 4. I played my part in the East Coast. I did my part in the East Coast. You're going to see some votes. You're going to see some record turnouts from Afro-Guyanese villages, Indo-Guyanese villages, mixed villages, and it's going to be for PPP. I was in Haslington. Like this is the one I want to make this point. I don't listen much. I can't stand listening to the opposition. I try, honestly. God knows I try. No, Uncle Freddie, I try.
But it's
like it's difficult. Like I was looking at when Robin Simon was speaking. The Haslington whistle stop meeting. Because they don't have public meetings. They got whistle stop meetings where they just put up and just speak. Nobody comes out. So I'm listening to her. I'm listening to Michael. And I hear from them all this race beating, this race talk.
Still with that on the platform?
Yeah.
Uncle Freddie, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Young people telling Haslington, oh, remember when Moore come across and kill people and they had to run over here and a whole heap of thing.
But they can't see that.
No, but here the thing, the man, here the crux of the matter. Here the crux of the matter. All they do is split the vote and I listen and I couldn't take much more of it. But you know what is heartening? You know what I do? I go in the communities. Now I go in the morning and I go in the afternoon. So in the mornings I just go, just touch base, the barber shop, the wash bay, sit down and give and talk, get to feel the people. Go there in the morning. I ask them people, I says, y'all know who's Robin Simon? Honestly.
Yeah.
I'm a kids. Who? So Robin Simon, man, is a PNC executive. I said, man, short, oh, officer? Yeah. I said, you want to see her around here? He said, no. Them just stay over so. I said, all right, good. Come back again. Work with them guys. Yesterday, I called them up in the afternoon. So some of this camping is spontaneous. I said, hey, fellas, I come in there, watch the cricket here, and drinks on me. Man, I said, man, what time you coming? I said, cricket is 7 o'clock, I should be up there, man. Tell the Babo. The wash guy, the wash bay. Go up there, start chilling with them guys. We had like 30 young people. No, we had like 1 or 2 big men. National player for rugby. The talent pool in these country areas, these villages is tremendous. And I just asked the question. I says, in all these fights, so they could understand what I'm trying to say. In all the years, they ever come over here and say, no man, them don't do them things, man. Don't do them things, man. So when they talk their race and they talk, they be done about this and done the other thorough. These villages want development, they want progress, and they just want somebody to come in their communities, talk with them, sit with them, have that rapport with them, and you're gonna see from top to bottom all them villages, and this is people who say, look, James, you get me word, you got me vote. This is my name, this is my number. This is my name, is a number. You get some group leaders. We have group leaders in every single village. All the villages, you have group leaders. So all we got to do now is, hey, we ready. Picking up. Come out. So the organization is already there. And they're going to have such a, the proverbial stick, they'll have such a whipping.
John B. Lashes,
They're going to
man.
have such a whipping, and they're going to reinvent the part. I think after now, the entire political apparatus in terms of how you appeal to voters will change.
Would have to.
Yeah, people like Rickford Burke,
they're gone.
David Hines, Abby Norton, all of them. Their history. We have seen that their kind of rhetoric has no place. This kind of race thing, like imagine Henry Jeffrey telling people, African Unite, don't split vote. Imagine Henry Jeffrey, who was in the PP and served for 5 ministries. Coming back
over a
14-year period with the PP Civic, now coming and telling people don't split vote. I mean, how backward could these guys be?
Yeah.
How backward could they be? Yeah, before they appeal, here's the thing, you could appeal to Indians too,
Yeah.
You could appeal to Americans too,
I don't understand why
you could do that too, you could do. It's a backward politics. You could go in bush lot and pass settlement and all over.
It's so commonsensical. I say, listen, we are not what they say we are,
Yeah.
We are for the whole of
Yeah.
Don't box us as into a racial party. And each speaker could say, do you know my history? The interaction I have had with other races of people, that is what you're supposed to be saying.
If you look at
it's so wrong with these people, man.
I analyze them. I analyze all of them. I mean, I can't listen to them, but I scroll and I see where they're going. The villages they're touching, the areas they're going, the faces. I watch that, and I'm like, they're making it so easy. You show me one area, one stronghold, the PPC that have no ending. Do any groundwork. Now I ain't talking about just hold a public office to stop meeting. No, now I'm talking about doing groundwork. Go and share out your flyers and whatever. But now I'm talking about that. Just do a whistle stop. They have actually said, you know what, like in the local government elections, we ain't got time to rest again. People say we stronghold.
Yeah.
They've continued that.
And the stronghold still just slipping away.
Man.
They are so stupid, Craig. I've never seen an East Indian person from the PPP's first, second, go and address in a meeting, even if it's 100% Indians. And they never say, well, we can preserve Hindu culture. You don't have to be afraid. It's common sense. They don't speak like that. All you got to do is take your cue from your enemies. Your enemies and going in the direction because it's non-productive. You don't go in the direction.
But what you should notice about the PPP going back all these years, even though they used to be chased out and sometimes violently chased out of Afro communities, they kept going. They kept signaling to Africans, we are interested in having a conversation with you. They kept going and tried to engage. They kept going, and they're being chased out year after year, and they still keep going. And that signals to people, and people still remember that, hey, we keep chasing out these people, we keep taking down the flags when they put them up, and these people still keep coming. And so after a time, people, would start to listen. And as long as people sit and listen and engage, you engage people. Michelle Obama got a saying, it's easy to hate from afar. But when you're close to somebody and you see who they really are, you can't do anything else but translate, or reciprocate that. And that is exactly what is happening. And these people, the Rickford Burke, the David Hines, and so on, they are still lost in a world that says, one, they believe that every person in every Afro community owes them an allegiance. And two, they also believe that the community must be kept in check. You can't go out the perimeter. You can't experiment. You can't seek other options. And they don't. It hasn't sunk in yet that people in this age and this generation. You know how many new voters went on the list? 100 and something thousand, and about 90% of those are first-time voters. So we are looking about a 90,000 first-time voter, and these people in 2015, you know what were the ages? About 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old in 2015. And now, 10 years later, they're 18, 19, 20, 21, and so on, and going to the polls for the first time. They want somebody tell them, vote for this person, or do not vote for that person because we should hate them. We should hate them. The young people of today, they are the 100,000, 90,000 people. I want to hear that.
Gentlemen, you're a lawyer. You did your PhD in China. You got to shut those people out and go up to China and collect your PhD, so you could shut up those AFC people who talking about today. I think you need to do that as soon after the election is concluded, because you did your PhD in China and you should go and get it. I think both of you would know that it doesn't look good, and it will not look good, and it may have problems when a country doesn't have a vibrant opposition. I think there were PPP ministers who came here and say, a country needs opposition. You keep the government on its toes. I met Forbes Burnham's son-in-law in the pastry shop yesterday, Van West Charles, and he thinks there's going to be leadership change in the PNC. And when I called some names, he said, no. So who's going to lead the PNC?
Good question.
I'd like to hear both.
Let me say this here. I'll tell you what will really happen. After the emphatic loss of the APNU coalition, Arbinotri will still remain as leader. He will still remain as opposition leader. I don't think anyone right now in the party not only have the support of the majority of the party to remove him. There'll be talk, there'll be a lot of talk outside and inside and whatever the case is. But this is, and why there's no successor or a succession plan is because, like I said before, in 20 2017, when Minister Lawrence drafted that succession and mentorship program. It never came to fruition. So there's no one in the PNC now who could pick up the mantles of leadership and run with it. So after elections, you will see Aubrey Norton there still. Of course, he will not accept the results. We know the whole brouhaha that will occur. But let me tell you this here. There are some young people within the party and on the fringes who will make a lot of noise. I don't want to call them, I don't want to put them on spot.
Right.
You know, but there are certain young people in the party who will make a lot of noise. Because the party cannot continue along this direction as if it's just appealing to Afro-Guyanese.
Mm-hmm.
It can't. There are folks who see it and says, look, if we're going to say we're a national party, we got to act a national party. We got to operate as a national party. You know, so, and the other thing too is you must recognize is that outside of the PNC, there's Amanza Walton Desir, there's Simona Brooms, who are from the PNC, and who I think people from the PNC will gravitate to them.
And tell them to come back.
You know, not to come back, but there may be some sort of, you're looking at they bring it together, but they become deepening the chasms, or deepening the rift. You know, we might find more mass movement towards these two persons. Because of leadership they may provide, they may now look at them as, look, I think you now have a national appeal, you now have a national presence. Let us, the young folks, let us go there and see what our futures will be. We may have more hope with an Amanza Walton Desir, with a Simona Brooms, than sticking with the old establishment. These are all possibilities. What I do know for sure, though, is that the PPP, with its 2/3 majority, will govern objectively. I think there's enough voices now in the PPP civic, and I'm not talking race. People like to contextualize things in terms of race.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I think there's enough young voices in the PP Civic that whether or not the opposition checks it, it is checking itself. And I'll give you a beautiful example. That Lenora, after the Stewartville rally, and having conversations with His Excellency was like, this person here and I went to school. This person here went to school. We used to eat out of one bowl, and now we still eat out of the same bowl. And this is the picture of us eating out of the same bowl. So the president has grown up. That's just an example. And this on talk terrorists. And that's why you see so many Afro-Guyanese are flocking the president because of this. He didn't grow up with this thing, oh, you're black and I'm Indian. He grew up, look, we won. So everything about him is, I don't see race. Like when Samori says, I'm Guyanese, my race don't matter. So for the president, he can't stand race. He can't stand racism. So anybody in the PPP civic were to commit some racial...
no, they're in trouble.
Yeah, tremendous trouble with him.
The thing that happened to Gita Chanda.
Tremendous trouble with him. So that's one example. And you know the president is also big, extremely big on empowering these communities. Like when you hear him talk about, look, the things like the plans I got for Buxton, all that land there, and not to bring in nobody, you know, is to let Buxtonians do this for themselves, empower them to do it for themselves. It's like nobody can now come and tell the president or tell the PPP Civic in the PPP, no, them Afro-Guyanese, we're just getting too much of thing. You can't even dare do that.
No.
That's against the grain of what he is as the president.
That would dent his legacy.
No, but I'm saying but it is him. What I mean is the PP Civic is now a reflection of its president.
Yeah.
In terms of the progress and development, in terms of the vision of where he wants to take the country and take the people, it's now a reflection of him. So, and that is why you see, I'm not afraid of the 2/3 majority. If it was some other president, I might have, or you know, this person is going to lost for power. Lost for power.
But it's going to be hard.
This and that, but
we started with our boy, Yes, after the election, he will still win. But I think James is saying you're going to have long knives emerging into the night. You're going to have knives flaking off.
I think, yeah, I would go right where James Bond
But
went.
eventually the knife's going to come.
But I think at this point or anytime soon, and when I say soon, I mean I'm talking in 2 years period, because that is how the Congress of the PNC goes. I don't think between now and the next Congress, anybody could overtake Aubrey Norton. If Aubrey Norton has sense, though, given his age,
Yeah, it's going to be 7-1.
he needs to start curate a group of people who can move into leadership position and have people in the country feel confident about their leadership. So if I were to advise that party, I would say after election, I don't want to take your licks like a man, quote unquote, and go back to the drawing board. But Aubrey Norton is not the future of that party, and Aubrey Norton has to help the party sort out its future. He has to help to lead that process, and the process can't be in. The answer cannot lie only in Afro communities.
No, but a quick question, my brother. For him to curate, that means he has to walk back everything you would have done for the past 5 years. You don't.
So be it. And I've always said that if you're good, and that is why I have tremendous respect for Vice President Jack Deo. In that, politics, when you are a political leader, you can't take everything personal. So if somebody set out to injure you and your family personally, that's a different thing. But if somebody set out to attack your politics, you can't hold that personally, because, for example, I posted a photograph of Nigel Hughes and former Prime Minister Nagamutu. Nagamutu made some statement, and I just put it there and say, political resurrection, wondering if he's, coming forward.
You use that word?
Hold on, man.
You use that word?
Hold on,
You're
man.
not supposed
It's
to
a
use
normal
that word.
It's a normal word.
That word
But I'm
gets
just saying,
banned for
man.
you.
All right.
Resurrection.
So I put up the thing there, and people are saying you're attacking your former party, this, that, and all of that. The point is, if you're a politician and you are a political activist, it is normal for you to point out, certain things because these people are now opposition, and that is the way politics work. And so then back to the comment you made just now. If Aubrey needs to do that, he needs to do that as far as possible. He needs to go to Joe Harmon and say, look, I'm not bringing you back to be leader necessarily, but you were at the pinnacle of things when we were in government, close to Granger, give me some ideas. Can you stand beside me? Let's research this thing. He needs to go back to whomever felt marginalized. I don't know if it's in his capacity, but I am saying that the sensible direction to go would be that. Because I believe the PNC, or a variant of it, Guyana needs it. We need an opposition. We need, you can't just have a government, just, our constitution and our life as Guyanese are structured in such a way that there is a government and should be faced by a strong opposition.
Do you guys realize that Guyana's political society will not be the same after 2026? Vincent is going to be nearing 80. and he may not be a commissioner anymore. The PNC may want to change those 3 commissioners. We will no longer have a Nigel Hughes talking politics. I think Hughes and the AFC will be gone. There may be a fading out of David Hines, and so it's going to be a PNC is going to have new leadership. So 2026 we're going to not have some people, or we're going to miss them, but they'll be gone.
Well, I wouldn't go as soon as 2026, but gradually by 2030.
By 2030, when Vincent will be in his 80s.
No, I'm saying, but Vincent will not necessarily go as soon as 2026. They will gradually fade out, and by 2030, if the PNC does not have a complete makeover by 2030, it will become irrelevant.
I think one of the things that we will see in 2026, which will be a political expectation, but it will still be an indentation of the political scene, is I think Azzuddin Mohammed may be in serious legal trouble, from which he may not be able to extricate himself from. You just have this feeling. You just have this feeling that something is going to happen.
Yeah, but the thing is,
the US is going to, the US is either waiting or researching, but you just have this feeling that this thing is so serious, formidable, that the US is not going to allow it to just drop like that.
Well, I don't want to specifically comment on that, but except to comment on the party thing. The parties such as WIN, and you go back in our recent history from 2020 to 2005 coming back, parties such as WIN that were formed to respond to something that somebody quote unquote did to them, right? Those parties just come and they just fade. If you look at Change Guyana, that was done by Badal, the guy who owns Pegasus. That was just to retaliate against the AFC. One-time election, it's a self thing, a self-praise, self-aggrandizement kind of thing, that you want to show them you could run against them and get some of their votes. And I would be beware of such parties. I would be.
Well, to be brutally honest, WIN is no substance. It's a vacuous party.
It's just wind.
Yeah, it's just wind. Yeah, vacuous. I mean, it's amazing. Let me use milder language, less sensational language. It's normal that persons with wealth they attain a certain respect in society, and WIN party, in my estimation, because that Mr. Muhammad is wealthy, it's where he gathers the support from. There's no deep-rooted sense of love or loyalty to a program, a policy, or a person. It's simply, look, this man is famous, he's wealthy. He says, the catchwords are, 1, PPP, 2, I'm a victim.
Yeah.
That's it. So you're right when it says you're giving them, they'll be there for this election because they got a couple of seats this elections. But I don't expect them to be in for the long haul.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. One, there's absence of structure. The complete absence of structure. It seems ad hoc to be very ad hoc.
Absence of serious leadership quality.
Serious leadership quality. So
and personal finance.
Yeah.
That's another giveaway.
Then you see that how is it possible that we don't know who the prime ministerial candidate is, the vice president, the various ministers who's going to be there? They're still like, we're serious about running this country. I don't think as a serious Guyanese that you could actually tell Guyanese, look, I'm going to be the president, that's it. Vote for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna run everything. I could run this government. I could run this country. I don't need to name anybody. I don't need to promote anybody. And to me, that lack of substance, that lack of structure, that lack of seriousness. I've never listened to more than 5 or 10 seconds when they start to speak. I kid you not. I try. I force myself. Sometimes it's go listen. Give it to 2 minutes. Give it to 3 minutes. I can't. Because it doesn't appeal as a serious party who's serious about making a difference in Guyana. It's always a vendetta against the PPP, of which we know we know how when myself and Ashley communicated, it was from a level I'm PNC and you're PPP. We both like Irfan. You know what I'm saying? We both fond of Irfan. So I don't know how it is now that the PP Civic has become this mortal and morbid enemy. So
but I think the missing link that you have to get into people's head is that of 8 billion people in the world, the United States put him on a list of 17,000 people that they are seriously investigating. Say it wasn't the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Guyana. It's just like that. The United States Treasury Department said this guy is into financial skullduggery and the Guyanese nation should know, and we're investigating him.
And that has a direct relation.
He didn't say that.
That has
the Bank of Guyana didn't say that.
That has a direct relation on the future viability of the party. As I indicated just now, the party win is self-finance, and elections are expensive ventures. Just one of those big billboards is over $1 million.
But he's not spending that amount of money, though. You notice that, right? He's not going all out.
You got those billboards.
You notice how?
No, he can't. That is the point I'm making.
I haven't seen a billboard with him.
He has the resources. But notice he's not going for broke. Now, for example, let me get this. If I was a billionaire running elections, bro, you'd know it.
Billboards,
build up billboards left, right, and center. All these extravagant rally because he has the cash. But you realize he's not going for broke. He's not going all in because he doesn't believe he will win.
Right.
If you understand me, look at it. He's not investing. He says we invest in it. He's not investing.
Right.
He's not investing heavily in his campaign. That's the point I'm making.
So what I'm saying is that is a dead giveaway.
Exactly, that he's not serious about.
Temporal
he's not
nature.
serious about winning the presidency.
It's a personal vendetta.
He's not serious about
it. And the temporal nature of the party. It is a one-time thing. Not only that, even if they want to continue after September the 1st as a viable party, there is something Kemraj Ramjatan always used to say: money is the mother's milk of a political party. Nobody in Guyana will make a donation to that party because you then expose yourself to OFAC sanctions, because you're actually financing a leader of a movement
that has been sanctioned.
So it will have to continue to run on family money, and the family does not have the outlay if the amount of businesses that are also under sanction.
Investment,
Exactly. And that because of that removal of that latitude, you are going into a treasure chest that is not being replenished. And that also points to the temporal nature of what we're witnessing. And so I think even that party will fade off. They would realize that I've made a try. I've executed my vendetta. I got nowhere, and it's time for me to protect the remainder of my finances rather than just spend all the time. And I think people also need to pay attention. But just before you come in, Freddie James, I think a lot of people and Afro-Guyanese are responding to win because of the Nigel Hughes theory. Nigel Hughes went on a platform and he said, It's not if, but, or maybe. We will have a minority government. And so people are thinking that the PNC alone cannot bring about, or the PNC in combination with the AFC cannot bring about a minority government. And so they're thinking, because some of those people who are following Asruddin will not vote for the PPP anyway. Right? They will either stay home or vote for the PNC. And so they're coming out now in support because the possibility of a minority government. But when that fails, even they will move. So there's no future in win.
I beg to disagree on that point. You're making it seem people actually listen to Nigel Hughes. With all due respect to my senior, you're making it seem that Ghanaians actually listen to Nigel. I beg to differ, sir. Mm-hmm. Not because Nigel Hughes says there'll be a minority government, people are supporting.
No. I'm not saying that they listen to him, but I'm saying the message is out there.
Nobody listen to that message.
No, I'm telling you the message is out there.
I guarantee you.
On Facebook?
I'm not saying the message is not there. Mm-hmm. I'm saying not a single Guyanese listen to that message or heeded that message. Mm-hmm. Let's say that, because Nigel says there's going to be a minority government, let me support some other party. The point, again, Win is getting its support.
No, I agree with you. I don't think because Nigel say that it's going to have any traction. No.
I can see because, look, the AFC, I love them.
The AFC doesn't have that kind of...
I am not saying... I am saying it's a message that Nigel Hughes regurgitated.
But you're saying...
And it's out there.
Yeah, but you said...
I'm not saying they're going to respond to Nigel.
You said the message... you said the message is as a... Win's popularity, Win's support is as a result of the messaging. Good. Yes. But I'm telling you, no, sir.
Okay.
I'm telling you that message went out there, it's out there, and nobody's listening to that message. But the point I want to make with Win, I could tell you, my brother, I go there and I see them. Win. The reason why Win is popular, especially in urban areas, in the hinterland, is because some of these, especially the young folks, is a sense of belonging to something. Critics and I touched on this this morning. Is that, remember now, the PNC is not going to these young people. Like I said, when I asked if this Robin Simon just come over with y'all, they ain't going to these people.
Yes, Sarah Buhali said that too.
They ain't going to talk to these young fellas, these young women in these hinterland communities. The PP Civic has its constitution, has its base. And you must face reality. They can't take and I won't call nobody if I put them. They can't take an ex-minister or whatever minister or somebody and put them in the ghetto and get the response. Certain people on the PP can't go certain place and get the response. So Asruddin Mohammed and the Win Party, again, because of popularity, because he was popular before politics.
Yeah.
He had popularity before politics. Through his philanthropy. He came at Melanie and gave out 100 hampers, or a couple hundred hampers, I think. All right? So people saw that and gravitated to that and identified with that. That's why he has the support. That is why he has the support today. But it's not a support.
But to jump into the political arena has been damaged. The Main Street incident, those things would not have come out. When he was giving out those hampers, people didn't know about the Main Street incident. People didn't know about 3 boys at his workplace being beaten up. People didn't know about the AK-47 rifle shooting over, because that wasn't highlighted. Yeah. Now, when you see his background, when you see his background, he's a very, very, very untouchable man.
But the thing is, it will not translate into longevity, because I said before, I love running to Win supporters. I love it. I pray every day I run into them. They're the easiest people to convince. If I run into a PNC supporter, I got to work. But the Win supporter, a 5-minute conversation.
The operator said our time has come. Leonard Craig has given me this. So let me see how it looks on James Bond.
What is my size? Watch me. This is medium here. This works for me. But here now, I have, I got my stocks.
What do you think to your chest now?
I good man. I brought that for you, Freddie.
I
brought that for you. And hold on, Freddie. I got something else. Hold on, Freddie. I got something else. Look.
That's not the quality you should give Uncle Freddie, man. You gotta give Uncle Freddie better quality.
No, man, you gotta give me better
quality,
than
man.
this,
You give it.
No,
Watch me.
this is
he's
why
giving Uncle Freddie. He's giving Uncle Freddie. He's giving Uncle Freddie.
Because the man.
You gotta get a good quality for Uncle Freddie, man.
No, man, you got to resurrect me. You got to resurrect me. So let me conclude by asking James Bond.
Yeah.
But just put it in on. Let me see. Let me conclude by asking both of you.
Yeah.
So none of these parties outside of the PPP and PNC could be resurrected after 2026. Using the word resurrected.
No, the PNC will never die, you know.
No, it's outside the PPP.
Oh, outside the PNC. Well, the AFC is. Oh boy, that's a tough one. I can pass on. I can pass. Maybe Leonard could deal with
anyone will be resurrected.
I doubt it, but there are some people who got some good personal qualities. If they find a way of pooling their talent and resources, maybe they could hold a small corner in our politics for a long time.
We didn't have a guest this evening. We've had 3 co-hosts. Usual Leonard, Craig, myself, and James Bond has joined us to co-host, and we were rapping and talking things. James bought his staff that was made in Ghana, that was given to his father. And Leonard Craig bought this t-shirt for me and a hat, but James Bond is saying that he insulted me.
I gotta give you better quality, man. You're a senior man, bro.
Better give me quality.
You're a senior man.
Freddie, you asked me what I have in my vehicle.
The man is insulting senior citizens.
Yeah, you're a senior.
You asked me what I have in my vehicle. Bring it.
Gotta get Freddie good polos,
Today's
man.
Wednesday.
Right? And that is what I did.
Tonight is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days left for these 2 young men to shape their own destiny with Guyana. I wish them well the 4 days of the campaign. And after the election, I would like them to sit right here again with us. I know they're going to be busy. I think it's a foregone conclusion that the PPP will win and they will go on to greener pastures. But when that happens, I will have to use this stick and beat them to come back into the studio.
Yeah, not for me. Not for me. I'm always available, sir.
I know Leonard.
Always available.
So I wish both of them well on the campaign, and I wish them well in their future political endeavors. We will see you on Friday. Thanks for being with us. Have a very pleasant Wednesday and Thursday until we see you on Friday. On behalf of my other 2 co-hosts, James Bond and Leonard Pegg, catch you later. Bye-bye.